Patriku,
What's up, guys? You guys are late.
we're late at the 12:30. What time?
Yeah, it's 12:31.
That's Matthew's fault.
Lou's definitely stuck with you, hey, Patty?
What's going on?
And now on One Time All-Stars, we are honored to have Devils legend, number in the rafters, Patrik Elias. Patty, how we doing?
Hey, Schneider.
So you're over in Czechia right now, back home?
Yes, I am. I'm in Prague. It's almost dinner time, so
We won't keep you too long then.
no. I actually thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I got obviously I follow you guys. I listen to you guys, and I'm glad to be a part of it today.
Well, we really appreciate it. And just catch us up, catch the fans up. I know you've been back and forth to the U.S. You were with the team for a little while, kind of as a consultant, but just, bring us up to date on what life for Patty Elias is like these days.
Quite busy. Obviously, I don't have as much time now to visit, although I was in Jersey over the New Year's, and I got to see the Devils play. A couple of years back, I got involved in second division here in Slavia Prague, which is the oldest hockey club in the Czech history since 1903, if I'm not mistaken. I got involved with them as a same kind of a role, consultant, and they weren't doing that well in the league, and I knew the ownership, and they approached me. So I finished the season that year, and kind of that role evolved. And as of now, I've been with them for 2.5 years. Still in the same division, we're making progress, trying to help out with my experience that I had. Kind of got into the role of more of a general manager or sports manager, so got to learn new things, and I've been doing putting a team together, setting up contracts, and kind of step aside from the player's role into the management role.
And when I played, I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go when I was done, and that's a lot of athletes. One thing I knew is, just through training, when I'd go back home and train every summer, and I'd pay attention to the young kids coming up. They'd be on the ice before us or whatever, the college kids, the high school kids. I wanted to get more kids to understand, you can make it from where we're from. You can have a career if this is what you want to do, and this is how hard it is. Like, how important is it to you to go back home and try to help build it? Like, I coach youth hockey now, and I want to try and teach these kids the right ways to play and be a good teammate, because I want to see them go off and do better than me. Is that something that's close, near and dear to your heart? Is that why you're doing what you're doing now back home in Czech? Just what is the motivation behind what you're doing now?
Well, I try to figure out again, I had a time to kind of get ready for the life after, right? Because I had a knee injury and kind of dragged on for over a year. I had a couple of surgeries during that, and so I had a kind of time mentally to get ready and prepare. And I wasn't sure what I'm going to do after that. I wasn't sure if I'm going to stay in the States to live with my family or if I'm going to move back. Eventually, we made a choice coming back home. And I wanted to step away from hockey. Thankfully, my relationship with the Devils organization and ownership and the GMs, if it was Ray or if it's Fitzy, it's on another level. And I'm humbled by it, and I totally appreciate it. Anytime I come in, I can be involved, and the doors are open for me. So even 2 years ago when I came in, I got to go on a road trip with the boys, and that was fantastic. And I stepped away from the game in 2016 was my last game. So that's been a while. But still, it's to keep me being part of it on the Devils side. It's fantastic. And I talk to the boys, I talk to the guys, coaches there, and video guys, because I still like to get some of the materials because the game's evolving, and I like to use it now here. But I wasn't sure what I'm going to do. I wanted to take a break. 2 years later, maybe a year and a half later, my good friend Václav Varada, who also played for Buffalo Sabres and Ottawa Senators. He's been with me throughout the junior national teams, and one of my good friends. And he was coaching the U20 team, national team. So he asked me if I want to be part of it as an assistant coach. So I did for 2 years, and that was a fantastic experience. I loved it. I loved the part of the coaching also. After that, we didn't have a result, so we didn't continue, which was fine. And again, I took a little bit of a break, and this new thing came to life, and I was approached, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I want to kind of step into that managing role. It just evolved, and I'm enjoying it, but it is important for the young kids, and it's the same thing whoever you are, wherever you are. If you're in Czech, in Europe, in Canada, in the States, the basics of trying to get to the best level is the same, and you won't get anywhere without hard work, discipline, and obviously having fun at that age. That's the three bottom line ingredients that you have to have as a young kid. And for me, with the experience I had, and I came from a small town of 30,000 people from Czech, so and nobody knew. I didn't have any goals. My goal, even at 11, 12, I was starting to kind of feel like I was trying to kind of get better than my peers, and I tried to get to I wanted to play for my hometown eventually, for junior team and for the men's team. But then I start kind of like having friends, older friends through my brothers that also played. They start going away from my hometown to play in better juniors league. I'm like, hey, maybe that's something I can approach. So we did. We made that decision with my family. And I went away about 4 hours bus drive, which was quite far from, when you consider that you go from country to country, sometimes in 4 hours in Europe. And I didn't get to go home much in first year. So that was a tough experience, but I had no idea I would be able to, make it to the NHL or to be drafted. I just kind of took it step by step. And I think that's very important. And that really helped me, that I wasn't looking at myself when I was 10 years old, 12 years old. Hey, I want to be an NHL player. I just kind of, hey, I want to be better, and try to get that level. Maybe because I really didn't have any knowledge, about NHL at that time. No social media, no news, and my first time I was in North America was when I was about 16 or 17. I was in Canada for a Viking Cup in Camrose with the national team, and that was fantastic experience. I'm like, wow, that was the first time I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to play that game on a small ice against the bigger guys. And I think it's important to have goals, but to have goals that you can reach, and or you can always kind of make that next step.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a different story, and they all seem to follow the same path of that, where you said you don't really believe it until you do, and then you have the foundation, the base of your work ethic and your discipline to help get you there. And you touched upon it earlier on in that story, and I wanted to circle back the end of your career, because Brian and I, part of the reason we did this was to sort of talk about athletes transitioning into post-career life, which isn't always easy and it's difficult. And I was there with you in 2016 when you went through the injuries with the knee, and just watching you, those, you had such an amazing career. You won 2 Stanley Cups, All-Stars, franchise leader in points. We were not that good then. We were kind of in some lean times, and just for you, I watched you could still think the game at a high level. You still had all the skill in the world. It just at some point for all of us, our bodies betray ourselves. And you mentioned you had some time to sort of transition and figure what was that like for you? Because it's always tough when the end comes of your career. You don't always know when it's going to happen, but you did everything you could to get back. Even though, again, we weren't that good of a team, you worked really hard and went through the surgeries to try to keep playing. How was it mentally for you to transition out of hockey and just kind of say, all right, this is time to call it quits and go on to the next phase of my life?
Let me tell you, if you guys would ask my wife, she would say, "Oh, it was terrible. It was hard."
Because you're a proud guy.
I'm sure you guys,
yeah.
your wives would probably say,
yeah, same.
It's true.
But I think that for me, I'm not sure exactly which year it was, but it was important to realize that, hey, you might not be the go-to guy anymore. You might not be on a first power play. And I can't remember the year it was. I was starting to be put on maybe on a third line, playing second PP, and not playing 20 minutes, 18 minutes a game, playing all of a sudden 16, then you're kind of dropping down. Then you had some games that when you played well, even at that stage, the coach still would play you. But I think that was important to realize that you have to adjust your game and switch into the little bit of a mentor role, and just be part of the team and help out the new guys coming into that role. And when I did that, it wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong, because you still want to be, you still think you're the best, and you can compete with the best, and you want to play at that high level. But in the summer, every time after each season, I was trying to prepare for a new season, and all of a sudden there came a point when I was probably like 35 maybe, which was quite late, and all of a sudden, I couldn't do most of the training that I was used to because of the knee. So I had to adjust it all, and I had to be on the ice. That's where it kind of hurt the least. So I couldn't work out as much. I couldn't do the power and strengthening as much. And obviously, I'm sure I was starting to lose a step because it's funny because I couldn't go as low all of a sudden, right? Because that was the spot when it was hurting me. So I had to adjust my posture a little bit. And obviously when you don't go as low, you don't have the explosiveness, and you lose the power. So I think that I kind of adjust my game, and like you said, Schneider, I think that one of my things as a hockey player was kind of thinking the game well, and I think that helped me to play for longer maybe than I would have if I wasn't smart enough and I couldn't adjust.
Patty, you talk about thinking the game. I played against you a lot. I was on the other side of the river for a number of years before I came over to Jersey, and playing for the Rangers was cool. I want to tell you a couple things. One was in the playoffs 11-12, you hit me once in the corner. And like I didn't go down, but you hit me so hard that like my legs kind of came together, and I think that's probably the start of where like my bilateral sports hernia came in, because I remember
Oh,
being
come
like,
on.
"Oh,
You caused
buddy,"
it, Patty.
just from a beautiful like, I'm like, "Oh, here's Patty." I just like you had a ton of skill. You had obviously the number people who know the numbers, and people listening to this are Devils fans, and they're gonna know who you are. I don't know if maybe you did get enough credit, but you didn't in our room for a little while of how hard you played the game. But was that something you always had? You learned, at Kladno before you came over to North America, or something you learned, going to Albany, Jersey? Was it Lou? Was it coaching staff, or was it just playing in the NHL in the mid 90s and throughout?
I'm sure you ask, so many guys, so many of my teammates throughout the year. I hated losing, obviously, and I think that it came from being the youngest kid, youngest child. I have two older brothers, so I think it came from that. When we were young, we were always playing sports, all kinds of sports. We played soccer. I started hockey when I was about 5 and started to play soccer when I was 6. And I actually played soccer up till 17 years old. And I was already in the junior national teams and all that. And
Love that.
I love that. Like anytime I had obviously the season was on and started to get longer and all that. And I'm going to come out here, with something. My last game was in the summer. I was 17 years old, and I went into Slide. It was an exhibition soccer game. It wasn't I wasn't already, I was playing for my hometown, so we were like, whatever, kind of a lower, division or something. But I was playing exhibition soccer game. I went to Slide against a friend of mine, Patrick Berger, who played for Liverpool. And we got cleats on cleats, and I broke my pinky, and I'm like, oh shoot. So I was already in Kladno training with the men's team, with the A team. So I called them up and listened, hey, I was kind of moving furniture in my apartment with Thomas Vokun, who I lived with, and it dropped on my pinky, and I'm out. I cannot train for 3 weeks.
You got to come up with something.
And that was it. And I'm like, okay, I cannot do that. If I want to kind of play hockey, and I cannot really go into that. But I love soccer. I think that it helped me, throughout my career, being a good athlete and thinking the game. And with what you were saying, I really didn't like losing. And I was maybe a little too harsh at some of my friends, some of my teammates. I remember a kid that I played with growing up from pretty much first grade to 8th grade. We were together at a school, and also at a team. And I kind of slashed him because he didn't pass it to me, and I got into offside. Next time he came in and he had a wrapped up race, and he couldn't play for a week. And so I had to apologize to him, and obviously, beg him not to say anything. So, those things, it just kind of went sometimes over the board, but it's in you, And when I came to States, and my first year in Albany, one of the first practices, I was there for a month maybe, and I got into a fight with Chris McAlpine. I'm sure he could have beat me up. He kind of just back, I don't know what I was doing, but I just we were doing a lot of those, 2-on-2 and 1-on-1 in the corners and 3-on-3 drills, and I didn't like that he was always kind of cross-checking me, doing all that stuff. I was commentating on a Czech TV NHL game. One of the big topic was the goalies fights now, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they asked me if I was part of any. I'm like, I remember Peter Sidorkovich was in one of them. I actually looked it up. I was part of it. It was my first year in Albany. And I was like in the back on the blue line, and Chris Oliva was fighting some guy running around everywhere.
Oh, my God.
You know, and Peter got beat up by Schulmeister, I think. And I was in the back fighting someone. And then at the end of the clip I'm listening, I think his name was Friedman, the gentleman, the player. It was against Cornwall Aces, and they were saying, he's bleeding, that's a courtesy of Patrik Elias. I'm like, holy shnikes! I thought I had about 4 fights in my career, and 2 of them were. One of them I didn't expect. It was against Darcy Tucker in the playoffs. Then second year I was ready for him because we had a little bit of thing going on, and then 2 of them. Other 2 were against the Europeans because I was smart enough who to pick on, kind of. But I actually they counted it the other day, and they're like, "Oh no! You had about 8 or 9 of them," and that was one of them. I knew in the minors I had 1, but this one I didn't remember. So I was kind of, involved in things. I like to things, get going and then start up. And I knew like you said, I wasn't big enough, strong enough. The guys could push me around, but I use my smarts, quickness, and slashing, and kind of get away and let the big boys sometimes, obviously, kind of take care of me. But I held my own, and little did I know, against Flyers, I started to cross check and turn around and do a little high cross check at the goalie. We know who was in the net, Hextall. So I was like, all of a sudden, I felt it. A blocker in my head and everything, and things start going. So I had to learn it, and it's still in me. Let me tell you, the hate to lose. I do sports now. I stay in shape. I love playing padel tennis. I think it's fantastic sport. I love it, and I hate losing. Like every week, there's the group that I'm going. They know that there could be balls flying around and arguments and all of that. So. You either have it or you don't, I guess.
That's so encouraging because I do men's league on Wednesday nights, and I'm usually pretty good, but I will.
I've seen you get mad in men's league.
Hey,
I like when I finished my first 2 years. There's a pickup game here, obviously on Tuesdays and Thursday. A lot of the veteran guys, right, that used to play in NHL or for national teams and or top leagues here, and. I handled it for 1 year only. Like I couldn't do it anymore. It was arguments, and I was obviously part of it because I'm like, I'm not gonna back off, right? Like right. The guy's freaking holding me. He's always trying to, slashing guys, and then he's arguing that he's being pushed or something. So I went at him. He's older, and then you have arguments. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. Now after I'm done.
Let's just say, Patty, I learned a couple of Czech curse words from all you guys from coming back to the bench.
Right. That's
over the years. I heard it a few times, so I don't have like a here, even though it's in Czech. I didn't know you're such a killer, man. I mean, you always seem so nice.
He's mean. We had battles, and it was Rangers Devils, but he's mean.
Yeah.
And you should get more credit for that because you're obviously an unreal player, but I don't think you can be without being a little bit mean.
You gotta have that edge.
Yeah.
Schneider, I got a duck.
You got it. All right, Bry.
Patty, great to see you, man. And hopefully I see you at the Rock.
Appreciate that. Yeah, soon, hopefully.
Patty, I just want to touch on, what you just talked about, just kind of when you came in the league. And you mentioned you go to games. You've been there recently. What's your take on the state of hockey? Obviously, it's super fast. It's super skilled. Yeah. It's a great product for the fan. My personal feeling is that a lot of guys get rushed, that they don't put the time into the development to learn other aspects of the game because the teams want cheap, young, fast players to provide energy, but then they get to their second and third contracts and you realize they may not know the defensive side of the game or the details of the game. And for you, when you came in, you've seen it all. You kind of came in the clutch and grab era, and then the new rules where the game opened up a bit. So you sort of spanned different eras of hockey, and you obviously came in under Lou and Jacques Lemaire and Brent Sutter, guys who I don't know if they'd be around these days the way they coach you guys. So I just wanted to get your take on what you think of the state of the NHL and hockey in general that you've seen back in Czech here with kids nowadays.
My take is like I would love to play at this at this new age. Honestly, I think it would suit my game more, obviously, because I like being creative and skate and free will kinda, and but I'm just so thankful I got to learn. And I wasn't happy about it, maybe a lot of the times, because the emphasis on a defensive game was sometimes a lot.
You could have put up more points, but you played the right way.
Right, like we all knew under Lou and Jacques when he came in, we had a lot of meetings, a lot of talks. Hey, Lou came in many times, said we need only one goal to score to win a hockey game. So that's not that with that you cannot come to the fans and kind of talk about, hey, you guys got to come in and we're playing a fantastic game. You probably don't get too many games with that quote now, but
no, that's not an advertising slogan. You only need one to win.
No, but he was, seeing the older guys and them being willing to play the right way and learn the right way. That was an encouraging, but also a learning process for me, because I'm like, well, I cannot really, even though that I wasn't happy about it. And, trust me, I came up with obviously Peter, and we were built the same way and played the same way, kind of. And we wanted to play always creative. So we talked about, okay, let's maybe take a chance here and there.
And you mean Peter Sikora, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Sicky, yeah.
But at the same time, like my first year was under Rob Iftorek in Albany. It was fantastic. Like, it wasn't all defensive. Like, once we had a puck, like, he was goal, like, be creative. It was a little bit different. But then when I was starting to come up and play under Jacques, that was different. Always, positioning, hockey, skates, where it was different. It was totally different, but worth it, because I think that, again, it helped my game. And because of that, I could play in all the situations. And I loved it. I honestly enjoyed playing PKs, holding the lead, or being out there when you needed to score. And I loved it. I wanted to be in that situation. And that's because of these coaches and the players that I had. And they teach you, or they taught me to play the right way. And I had it, I was always kind of like responsible. My dad always told me, hey, assist is better than a goal. So I really never thought of myself maybe as a goal scorer. I'm just shocked that even when I still hear that I have over 400 goals, I know that this league, maybe it might not be as much, when you look at these young guys scoring 130 points, or over 100 points. But to me, it's still shocking.
Yeah.
I never expected to score or to score that many goals. And I always wanted to be creative and play responsible and making the play. And yeah, for these young guys, I agree, because the game is so different. And honestly, when I look at our team, the Devils team, over the 5 years, we have a lot of good players, but a lot of the guys still don't know how to play the right way defensively, and maybe playing kind of, how am I gonna put it? Playing with the clock, playing with the lead, changing the game a little bit. They just play the same way to me. It seems like a lot of the times they cannot really adjust it. Like, I know we played a trap, and there is a lot of talk about it, but I loved it. Like, we were conserving energy. We were waiting without a puck in a neutral zone, and once we got it, we had plenty of energy to go offensively. And those couple of years in 99, 2000, 2001, we had the best defense and best offense.
Yeah, people forget that. You guys had a great offense.
It was funny because I listened to P. DeBoer. Obviously, he coached me also, and he had some quotes and input on the game on stage of the game now, and he said that he thinks that there's gonna be some adjustment from the coaching staff now, that it's way too open, and that and it's funny to see, like, sometimes with the clothing, right? You have a style of clothes that's hit, that's
in style.
That's style. And all of a sudden it's other style, but it comes back in 10, 15 years again or whatever. And I feel like it's there isn't too many things that you can come up with in hockey. There's some adjustment because of the. I do honestly think that it's great for the fans and the way the game is played and the way it's being called. I think the referees are fantastic in NHL, because I got to experience what's going on here in our leagues, even if it's the top league or the second league, and it's just, oh my God, I'm having a hard time to put a young kids in because I'm kind of sometimes afraid, that's going to hold them back. It's not going to help them. A lot of grabbing, a lot of that. And, so hopefully that'll change here too. But I think that with the game where it is now, it's fun, but there's got to be adjustment. I agree with you that some of the young guys, like you look at Celebrini to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. He plays total game to me.
Mm-hmm.
He plays offensively, is fantastic, but I watch his game all over the ice, and to me, he's a stud. I love watching him, playing, competing defensively and playing smart. And he's the type of player that all the young guys and young kids should, look at and kind of imitate. And with us, with the Devils, you watch Nico, right?
Yeah, Nico.
Nico is just a
detailed.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a true leader, a true captain. Plays on both sides of hockey, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Patty, because I think you are starting to see that teams are now really prioritizing that playoff style hockey where it's can you check, and I don't mean like body checking. I mean, can you get into guys, stick checks, good positioning, force them to be hard on pucks, and I feel like obviously in the regular season it's hard to do that for 82 games, but you can see the teams that have that in their DNA and have that hard skill where they don't give you an inch. When they need to shut it down or lock it down, they can get into your shorts and make life hard on you and get the puck back. And I know, just like you said, everyone wants to play free flowing back and forth, up and down, tons of time and space. But I think those teams that can't adjust and can't play with that hard skill and check tightly struggle in the playoffs. And I think teams are starting to realize that, and they're targeting guys like the Sam Bennett's and the Tom Wilsons of the world who are going to win in April and May, maybe not. They might not put up 100 points in the season, but come playoff time, they're the ones who can play that style.
You have to have a good mixture, obviously, and you have to have a feel for it, for the team, for what you need. But funny quote was Adam Oates. When he also Oatesy when he coached me, Peter was there. It was in that year in 2011, 2012 when we got back into the finals. There were some questions about some of the players, during the playoffs, and he had a quote: "Hey, you need some players to get you in the playoffs." And you need some players to that will get you, obviously over the hump and win the championship in the playoffs. So you got to have a kind of. There's sometimes kind of a fine line. You cannot have too many of them, obviously, but you can work with a couple of guys that maybe, hey, that when the things will get tough and will get hard and physical and all that, maybe their game will drop, but still, hey, they might come a PP or something, you'll put them on, and that's their time. But you have to work with that.
Hey, Patty, I know you mentioned the playoffs, and this podcast, we try to educate youth hockey and parents listening to this as much as possible, and you're huge on mental preparation, whether it was mental training, mental visualization. What were some of the things that you did during your playing days to really lock in mentally, and what's something that somebody who's listening to this or watching this can do themselves at home?
Well, I think that obviously, now they have a lot more possibilities, young players, parents, coaches, to have different things to work with. And if it's at a practice, doing skills on ice, off ice, training, eating right, everything, all the information is out there. It's just up to them to find it, right? Again, me growing up, I have two girls, and sometimes I'm hard on them because they love sweets, obviously, and all of that. And my wife always says, "Listen, you won 2 Stanley Cup championships, and all you ate was a freaking chocolate cake or a chocolate mousse cake, during the playoffs the whole time, and you grew up on like a traditional chocolate bars that we have in Czech." So she's like, you have to work with that. And for the parents and all the kids, what I did was, and really helped me out during that time in 1998, 99, we had a massage therapist from Germany, Jürgen Mertz, and he worked with a soccer team in Germany. And he came up to some guys and said, "Hey, you guys want to maybe start doing this technique, visualizing?" And we talked about it, what it is, and he kind of put you in a stage of total relaxation, when he talks you through it, and you lay down on a massage table and close the door, shuts the lights, and starts talking to you to kind of get into total body control and start visualizing yourself, your game, stepping on the ice and being in total relaxation, and just kind of seeing things, good things on the ice, skating well, making good passes, looking at the net, not looking at the goalie, not looking at the gloves, looking at the pads, always seeing the opening, the light where you can shoot it. And sometimes when you were hurt or something, he kind of said, you don't feel like, you don't think about the pain or whatever, the distractions. And that just helped me like tremendously. I think that just put me on another level, kind of like I felt refreshed. And when I obviously took a time to know that, and then we were doing it in a line. I was doing it with Peter Sikora and Jason Arnott, the full 2 years that we played together. And then obviously, the guys got traded and everything, and I kept going. Jürgen left after a few years. And I already knew kind of what to do, so I did it myself. And I don't know if Schneider still kind of remembers. I did the same thing. I went after the warm up. I locked myself in and into the massage therapist's room and shut the light and start doing that. It's just to calm myself down. And then, when I step on the ice for the national anthem, I always kind of had my head down. It wasn't disrespect, but I kind of did the breathing method a little bit and just kind of relaxed and did a little quick reminder just to play well and motivate myself. And sometimes you do that also throughout the game when you're on the bench. When things don't go well, you kind of do the breathing. So that's the one thing that really helped me out. And I'm not sure how many teams do that, the visualizing. I know that there's some techniques for training, obviously, but I don't know if they do that for purpose of being in a good kind of a mental stage. And I honestly swear by it, and I would love to see teams to do that and players to do that more.
Yeah, when you think about a 60-minute game, it can be overwhelming, right? Or an 82-game season. If you think about it in those terms, like, how am I going to survive? But I agree with you, Patty, that when you do the visualization and you sort of play it through your head before it happens, it's less overwhelming because you're sort of like, okay, I know what to expect. I know what's about to happen. I can work my way through it and not get so overwhelmed by another NHL hockey game where so many things could go wrong. Well, let's think about what can go right and what I know how to do and what I can do correctly. And I think that's huge for young kids and young athletes to do that type of visualization because it makes it less overwhelming, at least than it did to me.
It doesn't matter if it's an NHL, honestly, or it's any game, Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a lot harder for the kids to grasp that and know what
focus.
We're trying to focus and what we're trying to do. But like you watch soccer players and everyone when they go on a penalty kick.
Mm-hmm.
They take a couple deep breaths. That's all you need to do with your kids at the beginning. Just to let them teach that, let them try to use it, and even before any competition. My girls do a track and field, and I'm sure they're nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I tell them. Listen, you just go compete against yourself, try to beat your time or something from last time, and relax and take a couple of deep breaths and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Patty, you mentioned too, you're doing TV now, and Schneider, I know you're doing TV as well, so it even translates into that too, because there's been so many times where I've had a big shoot and the night before I'm visualizing everything, going through the routine. And then when I get to, say, Yankee Stadium and I'm inside the dugout right before Aaron Judge or whoever comes out, I'm literally rehearsing everything and just visualizing him right there. Probably look like an absolute lunatic, but you already feel like you've been there before. And that also adds to the comfort level, which then is all about like preparation, so the confidence is there. So I could only imagine for the both of you guys, and especially you too, Schneider, as a goalie, how much that mental training can translate and lead to success on the ice.
Yeah, 100%. It's, at least for goaltending too, it's such a mental position of seeing things before they happen, anticipating that. It's a hugely valuable tool, Patty, and I agree. I hope teams are employing somebody or having guys work through that kind of stuff because it is an advantage when, everyone's all so good and fast and skilled. Who can get a mental edge? Can be the difference. Well, I got a couple more for you, Patty. We want to let you go. I know it's getting to be dinner time back home and check you.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad I get
fun.
to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I could chit chat all day with you. And hopefully the fans enjoy it as well. But, you talked about some of those teams, 99, 2000, 2001. Did you have a favorite season or stretch of seasons? I know winning the cup, obviously, those are big years, but it can be hard. Like, it can be stressful and not everything is going great. And then winning is the ultimate deodorant where it kind of covers up everything that went on during the year. So maybe those weren't as enjoyable because of the stress. That cup run in 2012 where you guys were a bit of a surprise. Did you have a favorite season that you played where the game was just a lot of fun and everything clicked and you just remember it being kind of the pinnacle of your career, like one of your best seasons?
I'm going to start with my first season in Albany.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I got there and Albany won the Calder Cup. and the Devils just won the Stanley Cup, so I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm gonna make it to the team. But I'm like, because I was drafted the year before, but I got hurt with the national team before the U20 tournament, I think it was, or something like that, and I couldn't come for the training camp my first year, so I had to wait for another year. When I came in, and I'm like, I'm staying. I want to go here. And actually, Lou called me up and said after training camp that I had a fantastic training camp, and but he's gonna send me to juniors. I'm like, where? Like, I had no idea. I didn't even know I was drafted.
You were drafted
to I think it was Sarnia Lakes.
Yeah.
Or Sarnia Stinks.
Yeah, it's thing in the OHL. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had no idea. I'm like, okay, but I already played for 2.5 years with the men. Like, I don't want to go to play with juniors. So I told him and I couldn't even speak English, to be honest. So I don't know how I translated that. But I said, I'm staying here, Albany, or going home. So I got to Albany, and I had a fantastic time there with all the players and obviously Robbie and the coaching staff. And we had a great season. I think we made the most points in the history at that time for the regular points. Unfortunately, we got guys hurt like left and right for the playoffs, and we lost actually first round. But that was very enjoyable, and I learned so much. And then I'm gonna come with the year, not the year that we won the cup, but the year that we lost the cup. The second year, obviously winning the cup was fantastic, and it was stressful. Like you said, it was nerve-wracking because you just wanted so much, and maybe that's why I had that. We had to stay at the hotel, right, all the time. We weren't allowed to go home throughout the whole period.
Yeah, for just real quick for the fans who don't know, Lou made you guys stay in a hotel the entire playoffs, even for home games. So for 2-3 months, you guys were in a hotel in the Meadowlands, or you couldn't go home, which is crazy.
Yes, and you just go through the same routine, same restaurant, same times and all that, and it's like a Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah. My wife's name is Phil Connor, so in that movie, Phil Connor.
Yeah.
It's too good. That's
I
awesome.
love that movie. So, but again, it seemed like it, right? Because it was like the same, and it was so stressful because we wanted it so much, and we talked about it, watching all the games at the hotel. You don't get that kind of a step away from the game, especially when you're together at the hotel. You got nothing to do. You play cards and you're watching the games. So you in it constantly. You don't, you're stressing. Even though that I wanted to do that relaxation like I talked about, I just wanted it so much. Maybe that's why I had so much chocolate cake, at the dinner always. It was a known Italian restaurant there on Route 3, and I always took a big cup of chocolate mousse with me to the hotel so I can eat it. Peter had the cheesecakes and all that. That's unbelievable because you have stressful emotions and obviously physical and all of that. And I gained like 5 or 8 pounds during the playoffs, which is
corner weight, Patty.
Yeah, well, that wasn't corner weight. I still was young, so I was, I could kind of keep it, and I was able to play with it. But it was stressful. But the year after that, we had it was the same year pretty much, and we were even better than the year that we won the cup. We obviously lost Game 7 during against the Colorado.
Yeah, that was 2001.
Yeah,
that was a heck of a series.
Oh my God, what a team we had, what a players. Honestly, any night we could have beat anybody else. And it was just a matter about how we played. Like, I remember there were a few times that we kind of like, listen, if we don't play our game, we're not going to win. But if we do, we're fine. Like, we're that good. And we felt that. Like, we were just defensively, offensively, everyone. We had so much fun as a group. And probably helped that we just won the cup a year before that. But that year, to me, that was the best hockey I was ever part of. And in 2000, like you mentioned, in 2011, when we were a little surprised, I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
It was a different game and everything. But I enjoyed it just from different aspect because different players were in. Young players came in, and it was their first time kind of experience that. And I was already kind of in that mentor and experience role and all that. And I had a blast. I loved it. I'm like, hey, whatever happens, happens. and talking through Zach and Travis and that the Greener and all these guys. It just was very enjoyable. Also, obviously, we lost in the 6 games, but we were more of a surprise and we enjoyed it. For those guys, I kind of feel bad because they never had a chance to win, but that was very enjoyable also to me.
That's interesting because, part of the reason we call it one-time All-Stars because Brian and I were both All-Stars once. So we like to talk to our guests about their favorite or best season, like what made them, that was kind of their pinnacle. And that's funny, that 2011-12 team, because we lost to LA in the first round. We won the President's Trophy and Van got rinsed by LA and they were kind of on a mission. But I remember watching you guys and being like, how are they this good? Like, how are they getting there? And then when I got traded to you another year later, I saw Pete's system. I saw how you guys defended, how you checked, all of those things. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. These guys are really hard to play against. And you guys kind of put together for that playoff run.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we were very defensively solid. With Pete, I'm sure his approach to the game has changed also, although that he still has that a little bit. But because the game is evolving, he has evolved, and I'm sure he's going to be back in the league soon. But at that time, we had an unbelievable system in the neutral zone. That's like nothing could go through. But at the same time, I felt because we were kind of pushing that with that system, we played so well that they couldn't go through. But it always end up in our zone, and we didn't have enough or creative transition to get on offense. So we were missing that offense. We were just kind of
you had to grind games out
and playing hard in the corners, always back to the defense. There weren't too many rushes, or we couldn't really go through the slot area a lot. Pete liked it to, bad lay down in front of the net, in the corners, back to the knee and shot. That was kind of a different style, but it worked. It was hard for the other teams.
We talked about playoff style, and that was definitely a playoff
style.
That's it.
So that's right.
I figured it out once I got there. I was like, okay, this makes a lot more sense with these guys. Okay, well, I just wanted to finish up here with you. The Olympics. You missed the 98 team, right? That won the gold, the Czech team?
Yes, I did.
But you played in what, 02, 06, 2010?
I played in 4 Olympics.
4 Olympics. Oh, yeah.
06, 2010, and 2014.
14, that's right. Sochi. Okay, yeah, there we go. So you obviously have a ton of experience there. You know what it means.
Yeah.
I like to get Europeans' perspective because I think priorities are a little different when you grow up in Europe. Like you guys, I know you want to win national team events, the World Championships, Olympics. Was that kind of a bigger goal for you than the Stanley Cup growing up? Or, I know once you get to the NHL, you want to win the Stanley Cup. But when you were a kid, did you dream of winning a gold medal or a World Championship or even your Czech league for Kladno? Or was it, you wanted to win the Stanley Cup as well?
I wanted to play for the national teams, but again, it was after I left to Kladno, that's
right.
So I was 14, 15 years old. All of a sudden I went for a first tryout. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got invited and I made it the first time. And I actually didn't miss any of those tournaments, any invites for next 3 years because it was only until U16, U17, U18.
Right.
I watched some of the World Championships and, there were some huge ones in our history, beating Russia and the Olympics, obviously. Any sport, over the weekend when there was a time to relax a little bit in those 2 channels that we had, all we watched was sports, with that and 2 of my brothers, right? Poor mom, right? Like I said, I was aware of the World Championships, playing for Czechoslovakia. Back then we were still one country, and obviously the Olympics, but I had no idea about National Hockey League and the Cup. So that came out later. So yes, to answer your question, the Olympics kind of was part of me a lot earlier than maybe eventually trying to win a Stanley Cup. And in 98, I wasn't part of it. I was already in with the Devils, obviously, and I had a great season. At that time, and a couple of guys got hurt. They had 1 spot open. I think Vinny Prospal got hurt. Mm-hmm. And it was between me, Peter Sikora, and Milan Hajduk.
Pretty good players.
Yeah, pretty good players. And coach was the late Ivan Linka. I played for him a couple of World Championships, and he had a great feel for putting a team together, and he wasn't afraid to kind of mix it up. And at that time, we had a 90-plus NHL guys. I know, like, whoa, he's bringing almost half of the team from Europe. What he did, he actually, for that spot, he picked Milan Hajduk because he saw him in Czech league, and he played unbelievable here, and so he knew what type of player he was. He wasn't he didn't see any of our game. I'm assuming, so that's why he picked him, and rightfully so. It worked out, and they were a big surprise, big underdogs. But Dominik Hasek was
Oh,
Oh
I remember
my
watching that as a
God.
kid.
Like,
It was so good.
if he wasn't part of it, the problem, I'm confident to say that the results would be different. But he was fantastic, and it's the biggest accomplishment, biggest win for our country. But then me being part of it, I loved it. In 2002, it was in Salt Lake. It was fantastic. I had the games, against some of the players. You look at on the other side, I watch who I'm playing against. I'm like, I was so wowed and
Crazy.
I was humbled by it and crazy who you lining up against. And we lost one against Russia 1-0 that game, so we didn't get a video in advance, and that was tough. But being in the village, Olympic village, and all of a sudden you start, you go again in 2006 in Italy, and I got hurt. That was another story. I got hurt my first game. I got cross-check. I think it was like 12th minute in the first game against Germany. Sasha Gaj. He was drafted by the Devil, so we were.
You remember like it was yesterday.
He was in the minors, and I was up, and he cross-checked me in front of that.
Same team, man.
Same team, and I left. That was it. That was my Olympics, and we got a bronze medal, so I got it. But I actually have it here, kind of.
That's awesome. Let's see it. That's so cool. I mean, just getting a medal, an Olympic medal.
Yeah, I got the medal here from Turin, 2000.
That's very cool.
So I still have it because it was the most painful Olympic, but the shortest one. And actually, Dominator got hurt also, so we had that first game, so we left. I realized I had a smallest pants that were there.
Didn't come up high enough.
Oh my God! Like I usually wear size 54 or something. So I'm looking at it, and we're like 50. I'm like, what happened? And then Marty Erad was sitting beside me, and he switched it. Because it was bigger, he switched it. He didn't tell me anything.
That caused the cross check to get right in there.
Probably because I was like,
right in your ribs, or
pants were like way lower than we're supposed to be. So who knows?
Did you break a rib, or what happened? You just got caught.
The last floating rib. It wasn't broken, but I don't know if there's like they said that the cartilage or something was. And I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. And obviously Lou wasn't happy. I was out for another 3 weeks or 2 months. Mm-hmm. And then in 2010 in Vancouver, that was, I had my wife there, and then my sister-in-law and family and friends, and that was just, being in Canada, was so cool. I was a captain of the national team, for Olympics, so that was fantastic. And 2014 in Sochi, I came in from and I had a good season, everything, but I came in and I got sick. I was just already kind of ran down, and then right away, as soon as I got there, I got a flu, so I was out for the first 5-6 days. So I couldn't play. So that was kind of like a little bit not as good. But overall, just being in a village and experiencing and going to the events, that
seemed like the coolest part to me. I mean, I've never had the opportunity, but it seems like that would be the most fun, just rubbing elbows with all these elite athletes and other countries and cultures. Like the village seems like it'd be a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, you go eat right in a cafeteria or something. And I'm like, okay, that's her, that's him. Like, oh my God, congrats! You tell them. I just watch you kind of like share that experience and have a respect for each other, and a lot of fun.
So let me ask you real quick, Patty Elias in Czechia, excuse me.
I like Czech Republic. I call it Czech.
So I'm having a hard time adjusting because I've always called it that. But I mean, obviously they're in good hands now. They have Pasternak and Natchez and, some big time players. But for me, like I got to play with you and Jager and Zidličky and Havlat. Yeah. And you guys were legendary guys from Czechia. Do people still recognize you and know you over there? Are you still kind of a bit of a legend? Because you guys were titans of the game coming from that country. And is it still like a fun experience to be home where people know who you are and come up to you and ask you, or just, kind of follow you a bit?
Well, it helps that you're sometimes on TV, to be honest. It's like, commentating. I'm doing NHL once in a while, and I'm doing the Czech League commentating a couple of times a month at least. So you're still there, and again, now I work with the Slavia Prague team in the second league. That's creating a lot of buzz because we're doing well this year. Like I said, I came in, we weren't doing that well, and this year we're in the first place. We got 8 games left, and then the playoffs. So we're creating buzz, and we'll see. So I'm happy about the team and everything, and what I'm doing, and. Yes, I get recognized, and I still do a lot of charity work here with UNICEF. I've been involved, since 2006. So we're coming up on a 20-year anniversary, and that's huge for me to, and that's what NHL gave me, kind of not just hockey and taking care of myself, being a good athlete, but being a good person and take care of myself, take care of my close ones, and others, and people that are in need. So it just the hockey community is unbelievable, and it teaches you a lot, and it goes a long way in your life.
Yeah, I mean, the game gives you so much that I think sometimes when you get out of it, you realize what it did provide for you and remaining grateful. But yeah, I know Devils fans know who you are, but I don't think they understand like how big of a deal you are back home in Czechia. So I always think it's fun when guys go back home and it's just you're just what every kid looked up to be back then. So
you have to see for yourself. You have to come for the Czech beer, like I told you, and we'll see if somebody comes up or not.
We were just talking before. My suits are getting a little tight. I don't know if I need to drink more Czech beer right now. If you make me, I'll come over and do it.
Quick couple of questions for the both of you, because Patty, you showed your bronze medal, which is so cool. Schneider, you got your all-star jersey in the background, right? For anybody who's listening to this and not watching, but do you guys have anything else cool to show off that you have? Because I have one thing that I want to show while we're here, but I'll show it once you guys show you guys.
I got this.
Nice.
I love this from that was for the retirement game, right? Jersey.
Nice.
Patty, I still have like 24 beer glasses from your retirement night. They gave me like a case of Bud Light Patty Elias glasses. So I have like 24 Patty Elias.
Those were fantastic.
They were. I still have them. They're great.
Look at that. I got my 1994 draft jersey here.
Wow.
That's awesome.
CCM too. Nice.
I got my miniature Jennings trophy.
And my name is
hey, let's go.
And my name is actually here on the shelf because it doesn't hold anymore.
Nice.
The Velcro wore off the tape.
Like it wasn't stitch on, right? It was just like a drawn on or just like a stick on. I have this. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see.
Schneider, we got to get that award behind you.
I know. I'm facing the wrong way. I
Sick.
got my Devils masks up here on the shelf, so I'm kind of facing the wrong way here. So I got to figure out how to turn this around.
So if you guys see this,
Is that your name in a book?
Can you see the name?
Elias 26.
That was a gift from a good friend of mine. She actually delivered both of my babies, Dr. Doreen, and that was just like wow.
She actually folded that by hand.
I don't know who did that. If somebody did that or
that's crazy.
Then I don't know if you can see these. I got these little miniature
those
cups.
Are some good hardware there.
Yeah,
not bad at all.
And then
was nice to have Stanley hanging out.
And I got these. That's why I was a little prick with these guys. That's my brothers.
Your brothers, they made you what you are, so they probably take all the credit.
I see you rocking the Devils shirts all my stuff.
Was it hard to get all that stuff back home when you were done? Like, you had to ship it all home, or did you just take it over in pieces, or?
Oh my! I had a couple containers to ship, and I still have some jerseys, obviously. And
same.
I got a place in Florida, so I still have them in Florida, and some of it here. Like, look at that! I got my retirement picture, all signed by all the players and everyone.
Yeah, that was great. I remember that night. That was an awesome night.
That was awesome, and I think that for the 1000th game, maybe I have all this.
Man, it's like what to do with all of it, You got so much stuff.
And I got like 20 jerseys kind of locked up, and some of them I got in a frame and all that. But I just don't have like you guys, when you have that basement and sports basement. I see the jerseys behind you there.
Yeah. I'm working on it. We just moved, so I'm trying to get some stuff up. Yeah, I got my first game sheet from my first game in the background there. That's like they frame your game sheet with the puck. This is my first shutout puck somebody gave me. So like you got stuff kicking around. Maybe not quite to Patty's level, but did you ever like trade with guys, Patty? Like I got an OV stick and a Sid stick signed. Like there was some horse trading going on behind the scenes where equipment guys would, hey, Schneider's looking for a stick. Do you have a Sid? And they'd kind of do that for you. So I don't know if you collected any cool stuff. Like I had Yogg sign. Yager was notoriously sort of prickly when it came to doing that. And I kind of at the end of the year was like, I'd been his teammate for a year. I was like, Mr. Yager, could you sign this? And he kind of looked at me sideways. I was like, is that okay? And he's like begrudgingly signed it. I was like, okay, thank you. Like ran away with it. It's like, oh my God, I feel like a kid.
It seems so much bigger and acceptable now than back then. So like Patty, the fact that you have all that stuff is really cool because I'm sure a lot of other guys don't nearly have as much. And like exactly what Schneider just said, like it probably, I don't know, I could see it being awkward. Like I personally, just creating media, I don't really have that much stuff. Like I have a lot of stuff from when I was a kid, and now I'm kind of in a phase like Schneider. You just moved into a new house, filling the walls.
Yep.
Somebody asked me what I wanted, and I'm like, all right, let me try to get something that is from a memorable moment. And I actually wasn't there, so Patty, I got to say thank you. This is from Sports Mind Unlimited.
Yay!
Yeah, Emily, she's great, but they actually sent this.
Oh my God.
And that's Brian. That's Boiler right there.
And that's actually, so I was hoping that Boyles would be on
hilarious.
this, but you're Dustin Boyle, so we got to send this to him later. But yeah, so like the day that I get an office or a studio, hopefully I'll have that there, because I was working that game in Schneider. We actually talked in the outfield and center field after that game that night, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, so one, thank you. Also, two, I guess along these same lines, at the time when I was talking to a lot of the guys, it seemed like just another game to them. But now as you're looking back, because we talked about the Stanley Cup playoff runs and we talked about the Olympics, how special were those moments to you? Like, is it as memorable to you as it was to some of the fans that day that were there? People like myself working, you know? Like, those are some, like, special moments.
Well, all my friends that were there, actually my wife didn't go because I think she was pregnant at that time.
Right.
And all my friends, I had a lot of them that went there. They still remember it because it was freaking cold.
It was freezing.
And we got delayed, right, that game because of the sun and all of that.
Shocker, didn't know the sun was going to be out.
Yeah, and, no, seriously. And then, but it was fantastic because obviously, you know, growing up there and kind of being there, you knew what the history of the Yankees and the players and being in their locker room. It was just, it was fantastic experience. And you know, we lost. I think it was what, 6-2 maybe, or 6-3.
Yeah, it was 7-3. I have a story about this after you're done.
And I did score two for first goal. I scored two also doing that. We got onto the good roll right from the get go. I think that, and I scored the first one. So I got to hold that record. You know, that I have a first goal in the Yankee Stadium ever. But it was fantastic. I love the experience. It. You know, and telling our friends afterwards, hey, we weren't cold, you know, like the seat at the end, we couldn't sit there because it was so hard because the heaters right on the bench.
So,
but it was fantastic.
My story is, Patty, first of all, that picture you just showed, Matt, that was like blown up in the lobby of the elevator going to the family room in Jersey. So when Brian got there, he would walk off the elevator every time and see him getting stuffed in the background by Patty. He's like, can we change this picture, guys? Like, I'm just getting beat every time. So that was funny about that picture. But to your point, funny. Patty, like everyone was freezing. It was so cold. My wife and family there, it was like 10 degrees. So I'm on the bench, right? I didn't play because Marty played, obviously. And the bench was so hot that like my butt was on fire, but the rest of me was like numb because it just heated my butt. And then after the second, you know, I think Marty had given up like 6 on 22 or something like that. It wasn't great because it was hard to play in. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't have to go in right now because I was ice cold. And Pete comes up to me, he's like, you know, Marty and I were talking. We thought it would be really cool for you to get some experience and play in the outdoor game. I was like, you sure it's not because you gave up 6 on 22? I was like, okay. So like I'm in the sauna, like trying to warm up. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And thankfully, I didn't see many shots because like for me, it was kind of disorienting. Like the sounds and the sight lines were all different. So like the puck would hit the glass, but it would echo over here, and you're kind of like, where is it? And I had a hard time getting my bearings. So I think they only got 3 shots, but one of them was the penalty shot from Derek Stepan, and he came in. I don't think I moved. I sat there. I was like so cold. I couldn't focus, and like he just ripped it by me. And I was like, well, at least it didn't hit me. You know, it made it like 7-3. So I was like, it was a cool experience until I had to go into the third period. I was like, this kind of stinks right now. Like, I'd rather not, but it was good. It was still a lot of fun. Like like you said, just being at Yankee Stadium and being in that environment was really cool. It was the only outdoor game I got to play, and I'm sure you did too, because it's the Devils' first one. But yeah, I'm with you there.
That's amazing. And thank you again, Patty. I appreciate that. For the player who is in your stall, or at least right now, is Giancarlo Stanton. So, who, yeah, a big boy filled your shoes over there.
Wow.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, yeah, Patty, I mean, we could talk for another hour if we wanted to, but we'll let you get going here. We've taken up a lot of your time. But we really appreciate you coming on and just sort of catching us up on what you're up to and just reminiscing and reliving some moments for Devils fans. So hopefully we'll see you soon sometime down the road here at The Rock, and we can catch up in person. But we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Yeah,
thanks for having me. You know, I love this organization, and I love coming back and seeing all the Devils fans, and still feels like home to me. I have a lot of friends there, and my family still loves coming there.
Awesome. We appreciate you. Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Patty.
Thanks, guys.